Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. That's me, by the way. Do please, come on, like and subscribe. It really helps, folks. Come on, help. Anyway, here we are. Tales from the Jails. I want to talk today about the LIQUID COSH. I did a little broadcast the other day on the causes of the Strangeways riot. Well, one of the things that prisoners were complaining about when they smashed Strangeways prison to absolute bits and demolished it effectively in 1990 was the use of things like largactil and chlorpromazine, which is practically the same thing, forcibly injected into inmates that were proving themselves to be a challenge, shall we say, to the system. And the hospital staff, like myself, were instructed by the qualified medical practitioners to inject the inmates, forcibly inject them against their will with a sedative drug known as largactil or chlorpromazine. And these were injected into the upper outer quadrants of their backsides. So you got an arse full of largactil, and that, believe it, was very effective. I've previously spoken about how this happened to none other than Paul Sykes, and Paul Sykes ended up in a strip cell on the hospital landing, and he was reasonably well behaved after that. He had been proving himself to be a problem, as was his want. It's just the way he behaved. You see the documentaries about Paul Sykes talking about how he'd spent about 20 years out of 26 years of his adult life in the prisons for what he called slapping screws. I mean, it's not the way to go about getting yourself into society, is it? To go attacking prison staff. It really doesn't help, you know. It certainly doesn't help you get out of prison. It didn't help Paul Sykes at Strangeways, because when he tried it on in Strangeways, that's what he got. And I know that he got it because I was the hospital officer that delivered it. It's big complaints, and I believe quite rightly so, because the fact that inmates were being sedated against their will, you know, despite the fact that they'd been proving to be a little bit of a handful. I mean, it's quite a serious thing to do to a prisoner. But that was what was happening. And following the Strangeways riot, a number of the inmates were charged with prison mutiny and placed on trial at Manchester Crown Court. And by that time I had left the prison service and was approached by the solicitors acting for the defendants to see if I would give evidence against the government, you know, to explain exactly the kind of regime that existed in Strangeways, which was the reason for the riot. Because the inmates were protesting that they were being effectively brutalised. And I did go to Manchester Crown Court, but my evidence was given in what's known as camera. That is, that there were no reporters or members of the public were not allowed in. The jury was there, the defendants were there, all the barristers and solicitors were there, the judge and all the rest of it, the prison staff. But no members of the public and no reporters were allowed in. So my evidence was heard in what is technically termed in camera. And the prosecuting barrister, Mr. Brian Levison, who was later to go on to write the Levison report on phone hacking in the press, famous for the Levison report, and he became the master of the rolls. He was at the time a Queen's Counsel, and he was prosecuting, and he got to cross-examine me. And the first thing he said was, Mr. Sutton, you're taking this opportunity, shall we say, to seek your revenge on the prison service. Well, I said that's not the case. I was specifically requested to attend by the solicitors representing the defendants, and thought it my duty to tell the public and the court exactly what I thought the reason was why they were destroying the system, because the system was in effect brutalising the occupants of Strangeways Prison. So he said, I've listened, and this is actually what Brian Levison said to me. He said, I have listened to what you said, Mr. Sutton. He said, absolutely appalling behaviour that you've described. He said, now I want you to name the officers that were undertaking this behaviour. And I said, well, very well, I will name the officers. I said, but before we go any further, I want one officer's name to be put right at the top of the list that I'm about to give you. I said, and that officer's name should be John Sutton. So because I conducted the same kind of abuse by direction from my immediate superior officers, and so at the top of the list we'll put my name, John Sutton. I said, and on the second, I said we should really add the senior medical officer who is named, and at that point Brian Levison QC, who was still standing, said, Mr. Sutton, no more is required. Thank you very much. And the judge said, Mr. Sutton, you may now leave the door. Well, leave the thing. So that was it. Stop me. The only officer named by my evidence as being one of those who committed the atrocities at Strangeways was my own. So there we have it. Yeah, but the liquid cosh. Hospital officers. There's no hospital officers now. They've been replaced by the National Health Service. So we have nursing staff seconded from the NHS into HM prisons, and they are conducting the work that was previously done by hospital officers. Now, hospital officers, you may say, what on earth is a hospital officer? Well, it was a prison officer who had attended the Home Office training school. There was two training schools. One was at Wakefield and one was at HMP Walton. And I was at Walton, yeah. And that's where I undertook the training to be a hospital officer. And it took 3 months, 12 weeks. And during that 12-week time, I was seconded to a number of NHS hospitals to work alongside the nursing staff there, and worked at the Institute for the Criminally Insane at Ashworth, at Maghull in Liverpool, where Ian Brady ended up and subsequently died. So for 12 weeks training, you were then taken from, assuming you passed the exams, and these were no simple exams, believe me, they were proper exams. And if you passed all that, then you were sent back, you were posted to another prison. I was posted back to Strangeways and became a hospital officer in Strangeways. You can read all about it in my book. It's in the second book of this series here, that's part 3, but part 2 describes my experiences leading up to being an hospital officer, and part 3 describes my work as an hospital officer. So the liquid cosh, that's what they were administering, and it wasn't done willy-nilly by the staff. It was done at the specific directions of the medically trained doctors. So there was no haphazard injection. You know, you couldn't get it in your head thinking, I'll teach that bastard a lesson, draw a syringe up and jam it in his arse. No, you didn't do that. Done by the doctors. It was prescribed medication, you see. Anyway, it's that time of day, folks. So that's it. The liquid cosh, that was one of the reasons that they rioted at strange ways. It doesn't happen now. So maybe Alan Lord and company did something there, rid the prison system of the cosh. That's a song dinger, by the way. There are people who are already switching off, and I can't say I blame you. But anyway, here we have it. Tales from the jails, comments and all the rest of it down below. Please like and subscribe, all the rest of it, you know. I'll be here. I'll answer as soon as I can. And I'm now going to sing another Willie Nelson song. I like Willie Nelson's delivery, actually. He's quite old now. He's about 90, isn't he? Well, what a massive talent. Wrote the songs, you see. And this is one of the songs that he wrote. It's funny how time slips away. And you'll all be slipping away as soon as I've hit the first few notes. No doubt about it. Funny How Time Slips Away, written by Willie Nelson and absolutely destroyed and dismantled by yours truly, John G. Sutton. Well, hello there, it's been a long, long time. How am I doing? Well, I guess I'm doing fine. It's been so long now, but it seems like only yesterday. Just funny how time slips away. How's your new love? You know, I hope he's doing fine. I heard you told him that you'd love him till the end of time. Now that's the same thing that you told me. Seems like just the other day. Gee, ain't it funny how time slips away? I gotta go now. I guess I'll see you around. Don't know when though, never know when I'll be back in town. But remember what I tell you, in time you're gonna pay. And it's surprising how time slips away. Yeah, I hope you're feeling better now. Probably not. Tales from the Jails, John G. Sutton. Comments, like and subscribe.